Okay, I'm gonna show you two different ways of doing binding. This is the way that I started doing it when I was a beginner, and I feel like it's easier. So I'm gonna show this one first. What we do is we take the 2.5 inch strip and we just fold it over, iron it, and then fold it over again. So it's gonna make a little pocket right here. And what we're gonna do then is leave it open. And we're gonna start, what I usually do when I cut I make the basting stitch, I usually leave 1/4 inch right here. This is a little less than 1/4 just because this was a scrap piece that I showed. But you wanna typically from the side of your binding, leave 1/4 inch right here because that helps fill it when you fold it over. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna stitch it down. And then we're gonna stop. You've got about that much in there, and we're just gonna stop and we're gonna fold this back over. And then we're gonna go kind of where we stopped. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we're just trying to leave a little flap open here. And then we're gonna start again. And on the edge, we're gonna leave 1/4 inch from the edge. I've just got a pin marking 1/4 inch. And then we're just gonna go to the pin, pull the pin out, and then drive to the corner, and then I do a back stitch. Okay, so it leaves the stitch is sideways right there. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold it, and it's just gonna go towards the stitch there, and it kind of helps it keep you at a little angle. And then just finger press it, and then fold it over again, and then it's gonna just make your little flap. Then about 1/4 inch in, maybe 1/8 inch in, I don't know exactly, I don't usually do it exact. I start again, I back stitch, and I'm still leaving about 1/4 inch from the edge of the binding to the edge of your piece. I'm not marking it because this is just for the video, but this is what you're gonna do on all 4 sides. Go back to a corner, and I didn't even cut this piece square, so it is okay. Okay, so now we're gonna do the joining part, which is the difference in the 2 methods. So now what I wanna show you here is as you get back to where you started on your quilt, there's no measuring or anything. You're just gonna get to this point, so you've made yourself a little flap, and then you're gonna just take your extra piece, and you're gonna tuck it down inside there and kind of just make a cut that's similar to the flap opening there, so that you don't have a ton of excess fabric in this part. And you're just gonna tuck it down inside there. I usually pull this part kind of tight and pin it so that it doesn't move around as you're coming towards it. And then now you're gonna start back at the corner. We're gonna go in, and we just wanna try to make sure that this is all connected. Take your pin out. I usually back stitch when I get to where I started at, and then what that's gonna do is it's gonna give you a really easy binding that you don't have to do any measuring. And then when you fold it over to do your hand binding, it's gonna look the same. You can tack a little bit of the glue. I'll link the glue that I use. Sometimes you can put just a smidge of glue down inside there to keep it. Or you can hand stitch that when you're doing the binding. You can just connect those 2 pieces with a needle and thread. Okay, so we have it done. We just did our little flap here that we've tucked it inside there. And then we're just gonna press. When I do the binding, I always go through and press it first. And when it's a big quilt, you're not gonna do it all at one time like this. You're just gonna press each strip. But since this is tiny, we're gonna do it all at once. Then we're just gonna go inside and press it. And I just put the nose of the iron down inside there. helps keep your mitered corners looking pretty. And then you're ready to just flip it over, and because we leave 1/4 of an inch, it'll help fill it when you do your hand binding. So you're just gonna flip it over to the back side, and that's this easy method that we're doing. That's what it's gonna look like.